Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. Thank you for taking time and joining us. Our topic is today preparing organization for AI transformation. Start with readiness, not technology. Organizations across APACs are accurating their investments, artificial intelligence. AI is increasingly becoming explored and deployed to drive automation, improve efficiency, reshape employee experience, and create new opportunities for innovation. But there are important challenges that often gets overlooked. Many organizations are asking which AI technology should be implemented when when the most important question is, are we ready to organizations to implement and adapt these successfully? Because AI transformation is not simply technology implementation exercise. It affects how much people work, how decisions are made, how workflow operate, how leaders lead, how teams collaborate, and how organizations structure their operational models. That's what we will discuss today. Without any further delay, let's introduce our speakers today. We have Rahul and Mohit with us today to walk you through each and every pointers. And hand over to you, Rahul and Mohit.
All right. Hi, Mohit, and hi, everyone who have joined us from different parts of the world. I think, Mohit, we'll wait for a couple of more minutes for people to join in,
Sure.
uh, and then we should be able to begin it. And I will set the context and agenda in next 2 minutes. Once everyone is in at 11:05, and then we should be able to take it forward. Once again, thankful for everyone who has joined in from different parts of the world. Really appreciate your time on a Thursday morning or good afternoon if it's in the noon there. Uh, Mohit, anything that you would like to address before we even start the webinar?
No, we really appreciate everybody's time today. It's one of the most exciting webinar that we are running after consulting so many organizations that we work with, our own internal customers around the AI transformation, where it's not about the technology, it's more about how people readiness, organization readiness, and governance readiness becomes the three most important pillars of any organization, whether you are at the beginning of the AI adoption or you're a mature AI organization today. So I'm very excited for the webinar today, Rahul, and everyone who has joined in today. And let's see what's in the store for everyone here.
Right. All right. Thank you for joining in. We are waiting for 2 more minutes, 1 more minute for people to join in, and then we should be good to start the webinar. Meanwhile, a quick introduction. My name is Rahul. I have been into EdTech for about a decade now, and I'm working here into strategy with the CEO, and I am also taking care of multiple AI initiatives in the organization. Apart from that, I'm leading partnership channels for multiple brands that we have. Uh, I think, Mohit, if you can also quickly give us your quick introduction about your, how you have seen AI changing from where you started versus what it is today, quickly, and then maybe I'll run everyone through what we have planned for.
Absolutely. And just to give you a quick introduction, my name is Mohit Mohan. I'm the Assistant Director for Adaptify AI. From a journey perspective, what I've seen in the last 5 years, Rahul, is that a lot of organizations were talking about the AI, and AI was in experimentation stage. But in the last 1 year, the conversations that we are having now, technology is so accessible to organizations that, and for the individuals at the same time, that every organization, every individual are using AI in some or the other capacity. That's the rapid change that I've seen. Everybody that I talk to, whether it's the CXO team that I talk to or a frontline worker. Everybody is using AI to make their work easier. The only gap that I see is around the governance and the adoption. So that's what we are going to discuss today. And thank you for that, Rahul.
All right. All right. So let's get started. I think next 30 minutes, you are going to spare your 30 minutes to really understand how enterprises are now looking at AI, not just from a pilot perspective, but a lot from scaling perspective. So let's get started. I think on a high level, what we are going to discuss in this complete webinar is going to be, first we are going to look about, or we are going to also talk about the problem, which is AI readiness, why organizations are ready to invest, but at certain point in time there is a challenge around adoption, workforce capability, I would say workflows, leadership alignment, and governance. Second, we'll also be very categorically talking about the framework, which is where how these problems are going to be solved using Adoptify as one of the organization who has been helping organizations to scale AI adoption in enterprises. And third, of course, we are going to also look at the execution strategy, how to really turn the readiness into measurable outcomes. It can be as simple as augmenting your AI into your current workflows, to ensuring that there is a certain level of change management for people who are working into the ecosystem for quite some time, who are not able to adopt. So these are major three problems that we are going to talk about and the solutions around it. So by the end of the session, the goal is to give you a very, I would say, a very clear perspective on where your organization stands today and what may be preventing AI from scaling. So when we talk about this, I would also want everyone to be very active and asking questions in the chat, because that's how we do webinars. This is not a monologue that I would want to really deliver. I would expect all of you to be highly engaged in this webinar, because we just have 30 minutes, 35 odd minutes, and we want to capitalize on those 30, 40 odd minutes, right? So on a high level, let me start with few signals that really put this challenge into perspective. I think, Mohit, if you can go to the next slide that I have just put in some facts and figures just to start off for everyone to know. I think 1, 2, and 3 that you see on the slide right now, the deck highlights that, very clearly this highlights 84% of the workforce reports not having sufficient time or energy to complete their work. At the same time, AI capability is become increasingly becoming a workforce requirement, with 76% APAC leaders saying that they would rather hire a less experienced candidate with AI skills than a more experienced candidate without them. I just wanted to quickly give everyone an example. I don't know how many of you are from engineering background, but I am from an engineering background. Done it from one of the reputed institutes in India. But I would just quickly give you some context why I am saying this is because when we used to study and when we graduated almost about 10 years back, there was something called software engineering, and there's a role called software developers, right? uh, of course, at the parallel side of things, we also had a role called product manager, wherein over a period of time we have understood that software engineering plus product management has developed into a single role, which now is being called as product engineering. So just to give everyone an example that the roles, the responsibilities, the use of technology in the roles, to ensure that AI as one of the emerging technologies being indicatively utilized in the role is becoming one of the most important aspect of the changing the changing roles that we have seen. So I'm just giving some examples because this is what I have personally acknowledged, understood, that when we were there back 10 years back, it was software engineering and product management, two different roles, and now they have been merged into something called product engineering. So if you go, there's something called now forward deployed engineers who are actually going into the client's end, creating the complete SDLC environment for the client, creating the instance around AI, and then deploying it in front of the client. So just to tell everyone that AI adoption has never been the problem. The problem has been running, and the problem behind the problem is where workforce capability has been increasingly seen and observed, how we can, how companies are facing problem, not with not with the approach to AI, or I would say the approach to technology, or I would say accessibility to the technology, but it is rather more of how leaders are seeing the ROI, and how the companies and the employees are able to adopt to it. So I'm going to talk about a little more in depth, and before we even go into the next part of it, I would have one question for everyone. We always first try to understand where you are in your AI journey. So I would have a quick question here where I have four options. I've given it to you. If you can go in the next slide, Mohit, I think that's where I want everyone to really put in their thoughts, where you are in your AI readiness journey today. So before I go further, I want to make this very, very interactive with everyone. I'd like everyone to think about your organization. Which of this is currently the biggest barrier to AI adoption in your organization? Is it A, workforce readiness, B, organizational readiness, trust and governance, leadership? And I completely understand we are in the morning session on Thursday. It's hard to type, but I would just expect one single type in from you, whether you are at A, B, C, or D. And what do you think, Mohit? I mean, before people even type, what is going to be the spread looking like? Do you have any understanding on where we would be if people write down A, B, C, D, how the spread would look like?
I think it should be I think workforce readiness should be the number one.
Hmm.
At the same time, I think leadership alignment is also super important. So I think the spread
Great.
should be between A and D.
I think you are partially correct, but we also have people writing C. Could you please, everyone, could you please quickly write it down? And if you feel it's all of the above, just put it A, B, C, D. So that it'll be very interesting to know what kind of audience we are engaging today. And we will be able to contextualize the entire conversation around that. That's the entire objective of the session. So I think we have started getting responses. People, please start typing in A, B, C, or D. Again, I'm repeating it for people who have joined in very recently. We have just started the webinar. We are just setting the context in terms of where you are in your AI journey. Then we are going to talk about what are the key gaps in adoption of AI, how Adoptify as an organization help enterprises to really adopt to it, and then finally we are going to talk about the kind of frameworks that we have developed and the use cases that we have developed and we have had in the past, so that it helps everyone to really understand the nuance of AI into that particular specific industry and job role. So I think Mohit, if I'm correct, I think you have A, you have D, you have C as well, and you have B as well. So I think on a high level, it is all over the place. But yes, A and D, A and C is also something which is repeatedly seen. Some people have written all of the above as well. Uh, People who have recently joined in, please put in the chat where you are in your AI journey, so that we can understand the spread of people we are talking to and where they are in their AI journey. Quickly, Mohit, if you can run into the next slide, I think I would really want to understand, and I would want everyone to know about what AI readiness gaps really cost to the organization, right? I mean, on a high level, there are four different levers that are uh, mentioned here. So this brings us to the real business problem, I would say, where a readiness gap exists and they don't remain, uh, I would say, extremely theoretical. So they show up as, one of the things is slower adoption, execution friction, delayed ROI, and transformation risk. So employees may struggle to apply AI consistently. We have all seen, heard, learned about AI, generic AI. When we talk about AI, it's more about uh, you know multiple LLMs that we are using right now, the intelligent models that has been developed. But is AI only the intelligent model that exists today, that has been developed by OpenAI, Claude, Gemini, or is it beyond that? So for us and for Adoptify and for everyone who is listening to us, AI has three parts to it. One, of course, the intelligent models that we see today. Second is the infrastructure layer, which is where NVIDIA, where they develop the GPUs. And then third is the data readiness. So these are three core strength, or I would say three core very important pillars to drive adoption, to ensure there is a certain level of execution, there is a ROI, and there is no transformation risk. So all these three things are very, very important to drive all the four things that you see, which are really, really showing up as blockers in the AI journey. So employees may struggle to apply AI consistently. Yes, teams may have AI tools but fail to integrate them into existing workflows. We have faced that earlier with a lot of organization when we have spoken to. I have purchased Copilot licenses, 5,000 licenses, but my team is not using it. Maybe they are using Copilot just to rephrase, and I'm still facing issues with maybe shadow AI, where people are actually exposing the company's data to a Gmail account or to an account which is publicly exposed. So my company's confidential information is actually being leaked. And when adoption workflows and business priorities are not really aligned, the AI investments take longer to produce measurable value. So now it's not about AI investment or AI as a technology being integrated into the current workflows. Is being seen only by the CHROs of the company, but it is actually being seen from a CFO's lens. It has been seen from the CEO's lens, and every particular organization, or I would say not organization, I would say a function in the organization sees AI implementation in a different lens. And that's very important to understand what are the key important success metrics that we define, what are the early adopters that we define for ourselves, so that it really aligns, helps everyone to really see the real value and the ROI from what we do. So the real cost of AI is not the technology, it's not the tokenization, it's not, of course, tokenization is one aspect of it, but now that small LLMs have started coming in, in place of large LLMs, I think that is going to be a little better replacement of better utilization of I would say tokens, better utilization of or better consumption from a prompt perspective. All these things needs to come together. So it's not organizational friction that prevents the technology from creating the business value. I think that's the problem today, what we are going to solve and we are trying to solve, right? So, Mohit, if you can maybe go back to maybe the next slide, it would be easy for me to tell what are the four different uh, measures, and what are the four failure modes that stall AI transformation, so that everyone really understand the core problem that we are trying to solve. Because when we talk about the problem, it's very generic. We don't want to be very generic in what we are solving for, because all of you know that devil sits in details. So we also have to understand very categorically that where are what are those four levers. There are, of course, there are multiple levers. When we speak to technology companies, we speak to FMCG companies, we speak to healthcare companies, we have understood that there are multiple failure points depending upon the industry and depending upon the use cases. But these are top four that we have identified, at least from my experience perspective. Technology without capability, which is very clearly that you do not have the workforce who can really adopt to a certain level of technology, where they are still using technology as a very surface level integration just to ensure that everyone is happy in the organization. But the real problem is that you have to make these things more practical. There are four common ways that I have again reiterated that the tools are available, but employees do not have the confidence to use it. There are multiple types of prompting. We were into a prompting stage where we have to learn prompting. I'm just giving you an example of short prompting is one of the examples of prompting. Now today we are talking about prompting. Tomorrow there's something called loop engineering that has started coming in. Maybe after tomorrow there is something called context engineering that is going to start coming in. So AI as a whole is changing so fast that you learn something today and tomorrow that's more, maybe highly, it's obsolete. And that's one of the reasons you have to be very much aligned in terms of what your use case is. Where do you limit yourself to use AI in the organization? Because overly use of AI is also not something which is expected out of the organization. So I think that's first, which is technology without capability, which is where you are struggling to really train your employees, make them confident about using the technology at the first place. Second, of course, is learning without execution. People complete AI training, they don't have the confidence, skills, or role based support to actually use them. And learning without execution is again going to be a little more risk, where people, as I told you, people have completed generic AI training, but the learning never has been into the application side of it. The learning has not seen the application part of it. And that's where it it is very difficult to measure any output or any activity around that. Third, of course, is leadership without enablement, which is where leadership may strongly support AI transformation, but if ownership, I would say ownership, success metrics, operating models, and workforce enablement is not clear, or they are not clear to the leadership, then the transformation completely become difficult to sustain from a longevity perspective. And finally, of course, investment without business outcomes. I don't know how many of you know Uber, but Uber CTO very recently tweeted about this, that they have exhausted their AI budget in the first I think first 2 quarters of the year itself. And that's one very great example. And Uber being one of the data company, they are not just logistics, they are not just into service line, but they are themselves into helping organizations towards AI, and adoption of AI, and building the intelligent models for different systems and different ecosystems that the company operates in. But still, they failed at certain level, on a high level, where investment without business outcomes has gone in, and they've not seen merely they've seen merely the right value that they were supposed to see. So AI transformation does not fail because organizations don't have enough of AI. It often fails because the surrounding around it, and I'm talking about these four levers, of course, has not evolved with it. So that's one of the things that I wanted to really highlight here. If you have any questions, comments around this, feel free to write it in the chat, and I'll read through and I'll ask you, and I'll put it my perspective into things if you have any things to say. So, Mohit, I think if you can go into the next slide, which is where I've put in a little bit a small comparison between the kind of organizations that we deal with today are AI aware organization and AI ready organizations. As I've been telling everyone that, let's get out of the genericity of AI, let's get out of awareness of AI. We all know it. We have also done a lot of pilots, and we have been successful in these pilots, but still there is a certain level of inaccuracy in terms of making the decision whether we are really AI ready organization or not. So I think this clearly shows uh, there's a big difference between AI awareness and AI readiness. An AI aware organization may have employees who know about AI. They may have completed the training. They may have even have people experimenting with different tools. But an AI ready organization goes much further. AI is being applied confidently in every work. Learning is embedded into business workflows. Adoption, I would say, is not dependent on individual employees taking the initiative to drive AI adoption. And success is not measured simply by how many people completed the training. So it's measured through adoption, execution, and measurable business outcomes. So the shift is real, from knowing AI to applying AI, from training to really building the capability around the organization, from experimentation to real execution, and ultimately, of course, from AI activity. I mean, I would say, multiple prompts, putting it on a LLM does not show any value, but to move that to a business outcome, how those prompts are actually creating real value for your customers, for your internal stakeholders, for your managers, or whoever you are dealing with today. So these are the three or four important aspects that I wanted to talk about: the difference between AI aware organization and AI ready organization. And feel free to write it in the chat whether you are today AI aware organization, AI ready organization, or you are none of them. And that's completely fine. This is where Adoptify AI comes in. I just wanted to separately tell everyone that after this session, we are also going to introduce you to our SMEs who are going to consult few things where you feel that you need some help in terms of where you are in your AI journey and how you want to really get help out of Adoptify AI. That's where our company and our sales representative and SME together would be able to help you with that. So, of course, now let's go to the next slide, Mohit. I think I just wanted to continue my journey in terms of from an AI awareness versus AI readiness to the three readiness track that we have. I mean, this is what we try to solve. People, you have to understand that there are three important aspects that we are trying to solve here. One, people readiness. Of course, build practical AI capability, build confidence for AI enabled work, drive consistent adoption across teams. Without it, low workforce confidence and inconsistent AI adoption. This is something which is very clearly highlighted in the previous slide as well. So, if I talk about organizational readiness, align AI with business partners, embed AI into core workflows or business workflows, enable scalable operational execution. So, I think the second is organizational readiness, which is where it is very important to know that can the organization align AI with business priorities and actually embed AI into business workflows? That's the question that you need to ask to yourself, or who's responsible or accountable for driving AI adoption. And third, of course, is trust and governance. I've just mentioned one of the things about shadow AI. I'm not sure how many of you are aware about it, but at least 60% of the employees have been found using their personal chat gpt, even if companies has accommodated their request to have an internal tool, maybe copilot, gemini, or any other intelligent tool that can actually, or an agent that can actually help them draft, redraft, for very simple purposes. But that is still in risk, which is where your complete information about the company is now being public. And all of you would know AEO that has started coming in, where people now don't go on Google and just search for the websites and click on websites. As soon as you go on Google today, you rely on the first answer that you get it from the AEO, and you feel that this is what is the reality, right? But that's not the reality. That's also because a lot of models have been trained basis the prompts that they keep on receiving on daily basis. So again, uh, these are the three readiness track that we solve problem for. We are not into deployment. We would not be able to help you with development and deployment. Deployment, I would say, still we will be able to help you, but what we will be able to help you is the core problem is people readiness, building the workforce capability around AI, organizational readiness, trust and governance. So again, I am just trying to repeat this because everyone needs to know about what we are trying to solve for. Once this problem is solved, I think no matter what you bring to the table, uh, people problem, because it's always AI HI framework that really works in the world of AI. It's never only AI framework that will work. It will always be AI HI framework, which is where artificial intelligence framework plus human intelligence framework that needs to come in, and then only we will be able to see the real value at an intersection where maybe that will drive the actual productivity for the organization and reduce the cost as well. So the big reveal, Adoptify 3 into 3 framework that I really want to talk about. I think this is one of the things that we do, and this is from a commercial standpoint as well, how we solve and how we have developed these three readiness track into I would say three different stages. So we have mapped three readiness track to three different stages. As I earlier asked you where you are in your AI journey, some of you said A, B, C, and D. Now I'll go a little deeper on that part. Can you just move into the next slide, Mohit? Right. So I think this is the three stages where adopting, adapting, and accelerating. And then you have the matrix where you see 3 into 3 matrix where people readiness, org readiness, and trust and governance is mentioned. So adopting is always about build AI confidence. Adapting is apply AI consistently. Accelerating is develop AI champions. Org readiness, assess capabilities, enable AI into workflows, scale operational execution. Trust and governance, of course, established the guardrails, strengthen the governance, and scale responsibility. So I think this is very simple to understand. I don't want to really waste a lot of time here. People who are taking screenshots, feel free to take it, but I would just suggest we would also be giving you a complete deck with recording onto your email so that you would be able to access this particular deck whenever you want it, right? So where are you today, and what does your the organization need to do next to move forward? At the adopting stage, the focus is on building confidence, assessing capabilities, and establishing the guardrails. At organization that is at an adapting stage, the focus shift towards applying AI consistently, embedding it into the workflow, and strengthening the work governance. And third is, of course, as the organization accelerates, the focus becomes developing AI champions, scaling operational execution, and scaling AI responsibly. So I think pretty much that I wanted to talk about from a 3 into 3 framework that we work with the organization today. Can you just go on to the next slide, Mohit? And feel free. I mean, I would want everyone to really let us know your thoughts about your organization. what challenges are you facing and how we can solve those problems for you, depending upon the execution capabilities that we have, experience that we have, and the kind of I would say the journey from adopting, adapting, and accelerating that we have seen for multiple organizations to really solve it for. So, Mohit, I think, I think I'm sorry, AI did add this one more slide. I think this is a repetition of everything that I've just said, but I just wanted to highlight that at an adopting stage, again, organizations are building the foundations, foundational AI capability, responsible AI practices, and alignment between leadership and business priorities. And adapting, again, the organization starts integrating AI